The following program contains political discourse, opinions, and footage that many viewers may find offensive. It should not be viewed by anyone ever.
You little reason.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Some of you, bless God, I don't know if you have Jesus or typhoid fever by looking at you.
I don't know nothing about it.
Don't push it.
Oh, hell no.
Hell to the no, to the no, 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 no. Hell no, no, to the no, no. Hell to the no, no, to the no, no, no. Hell to the no, no, to the no, no, no.
Whammy!
Who the is that guy?
Yeah, I'm out the Queenside, grew up in Jamaica. Now in Mar-a-Lago, but I'm New York forever. My way like Sinatra, that's how I made it here. I can make it anywhere, Trump Towers everywhere. Mobile with the Riz, no, you never really see those. Sip a Diet Coke, grab a Big Mac at McDonald's. Trump building majesty, 40 Wall Street. Catch me at the plaza, shooting Home Alone scenes. Cruising down Broadway, jet black Cadillac. Motorcade slow drop, a fortune like Sajak. Build a skyscraper, Olay's Tower. Need another billion, it's like a superpower. Used to hang with John, catch me at the Knicks game. Now I'm sitting ringside, MSG will scream my name. Riggers think I'll tap out, they don't know my pedigree. Tell by my attitude that I'm most definitely from
concrete jungle where dreams are made of. There's nothing he can't do. Still king of New York. He'll make the city feel brand new. Red hats will inspire you. Snagger for New York, New York, New York.
Rallies Up magazine, let me begin. I came to win, battle me, guard your chin. I won't ever slack up, commies better back up. Try to cheat again and you'll the whole country act up. Get up, stand up, come on, throw your hands up. If you got the feeling, jump up close to ceiling. MAGA, let the love float, Democrats corrupt. Yo, we know it's do or die, we taking it all back. So, feeling, funkin', amp central force when we got more fun. Bust it out, retribution, Delia's team. The memes can get meme, hit the lives coast to coast with on my one machine. I came to get down, I came to get down. So get out your seat and jump around, jump around, jump around, jump around. Trump up, White House bound. Trump, 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 everybody Trump, 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 everybody Trump, 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 Trump. I'll serve just like tiny meatball. If you step out of line, you're taking a fall. Word to your moms, ballparks and thongs. I got more rallies than Bible got songs. And just like the prodigal son, I've returned. Anyone stepping in me, you'll get burned. Cause I got voters and you ain't got none. If you want a battle, come and get some. But if you do, you're a fool, cause TT is the best. After we take your seat, then you can protest. I got the skill, come get your fill. Cause when it's said and done, I'm standing still. I came to get down, I came to get down. So get out your seat and jump around, jump around, jump around, jump around. Trump up, White House bound. Trump, 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 everybody Trump, 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 everybody Trump, 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 Trump.
divided into classifications: the educable, the trainable, and the custodial. Obviously, we can only assess the abilities or potential of the mentally retarded on an individual basis. Seemingly random motions and movements are fairly common among the custodial retarded, and they may take many forms. Sometimes there are motions which seem to have no meaning whatever and may even cause unintentional self-inflicted injuries. The vast majority of the mentally retarded are intelligent enough that they can be taught a great many things. However, there's a wide range of ability even among those considered educable. And their ability to learn obviously varies according to their level of intelligence. Equally important is a stimulating environment. However, we must remember to set realistic standards that are not too high for the individual. Many of the trainable retarded can learn to take certain kinds of household responsibilities, some of which may be more complex than they are usually given credit for. It would be wrong to expect a mentally retarded person to become a master craftsman. The standards are too high. But even in the skilled trades, for example, the mentally retarded can be trained to become valuable assistants. Who are the mentally retarded? They are people. They come in both sexes and in all sizes, shapes, creeds, and colors. Wherever people live, there also live the mentally retarded.
Today's title is Trump's cabinet making moves. Will there be a November surprise? Lots to cover today, seeing as yesterday we weren't live. So let's get to it. Happy Thanksgiving week, guys. Oh, come here. Zoom in on me. Let me just give them a little digital hug. Come here. So sweet. God bless you. Happy Thanksgiving. What are we doing? Who's cooking turkey? Huh? Not this guy. Next. All right, let's get started. Breaking Walmart to scrap DEI initiatives. Again, it's a new dawn. Trump is in the office. Some of the news that I'm reading is just mind-blowing. It's hard to believe that this is actually happening, but it is. Look at this. Woo! Next. Good morning. Amazing job, Robbie. This is huge. Let's take a look. Play.
All right, y'all, I don't even know how to start this video because honestly, this is different than everything else we've done because this is the single largest employer in the United States. We are talking about a company that is worth almost $1 trillion on its own. As many of you know, I have been investigating a massive company now for a while, and I have kept my lips sealed on who it was. Now I can reveal it was Walmart, but something incredible happened in the course of my investigation. Walmart became aware of our investigation and reached out to me. This was critical and honestly turned out pretty fantastic for everybody involved in my opinion.
Can you take a look at this guy's account and see who the heck he is? Now, this is like the second or third, it's probably more, that we've covered here on Check the News. I'm sure he has a lot more cases. But these mega corporations are scared of this guy. Who is he? Play. He seems like a nice guy.
We were able to have frank conversations with Walmart. And as I've said for a long time, I don't ask companies to take on my political views. I am simply advocating for corporate neutrality. I believe that that is the future because I understand there are people in this country who do not agree with my politics. So it would not be fair of me to force my politics on them the same way that I am not okay with left-wing policies being forced on me and people like me via things like DEI. After various conversations, I am very proud to report to you guys that Walmart has decided on making some changes. I'm going to lay out what those changes are for you and explain how massive this is for our movement. We are unstoppable at this point with a 100% flip rate where we change corporate America and get them back to a culture of sanity and neutrality. Bullet point number 1, Walmart will be removing all inappropriate sexual and or transgender products that are marketed toward kids, things like chest binders for teenagers or books that encourage transitioning. That is all going to be gone. Bullet point number 2, Walmart is going to review and stop funding to all events that could be sexually inappropriate for kids. That includes drag queen story time or pride events that expose kids to sexually inappropriate topics. That's all going to stop going forward. Third bullet.
Can you also take a look at, is Aunt Jemima actually coming back on the syrup? Can you take a look at that? I wanted to cover that. I thought I saw that somewhere. I thought Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben's rice was going to start adding their faces back on the products. If that's the case, forget it. Merry Christmas. Ho, ho, ho. We're winning. Play.
Walmart will be closing their racial equity center. This is a center they had committed $100 million to, and it was a 5-year project. They will be closing that center going forward. Fourth bullet point, Walmart will no longer participate in the HRC's Corporate Equality Index social credit system. This scoring system is what has brought wokeness into so many segments of corporate America, and we are happy to see them no longer participating.
Me too.
There's not a corporation in America that should be participating with the HRC's CEI scoring system going forward. The HRC got explicitly political in the 2024 election, working with everything they have to defeat Donald Trump and calling him every name in the book. It is time for companies to recognize that they need to move away from this system that is explicitly political and embrace corporate neutrality so that everybody is welcome in their stores. Fifth bullet point, Walmart is going to be reviewing their supplier diversity programs to ensure that nobody's receiving preferential treatment on the basis of race, and they will also ensure that financing eligibility will no longer be predicated on providing certain demographic information. Sixth bullet point, and this is a favorite for me, being Latino myself, Walmart will no longer be using the term Latinx in any of their official communications. That is going to be wiped away. I was very disappointed.
Screw you, Latinx!
Again, this is a cross-corporate.
Whatever that means.
So this is a company, Walmart, who is doing the right thing here, and I want to give them credit for that. Getting rid of this, big. We don't want to hear Latinx ever again. Number 7, Walmart will be discontinuing their racial equity training through the Racial Equity Institute. Again, getting rid of woke trainings. And last but not least, drumroll please for the big one, DEI. They will be discontinuing use of DEI both publicly and privately at Walmart. This is a massive win for our movement. The momentum just keeps growing. This is the largest employer in the United States, worth almost $1 trillion. Other companies are taking notice. Suppliers of Walmart are taking notice now. With Christmas right around the corner, I'm happy I could deliver you guys one retailer that will drop the woke policies. You've still got Amazon and Target acting crazy out there with wokeness, so I'm glad I could give you guys one at least. And yes, we do have our eyes on Amazon and Target. America just voted, and we voted against wokeness. We voted for sanity. We voted for corporate neutrality. We don't want companies funding divisive things, and Walmart is setting a great example here for other companies to turn around. It's not too late. Turn around. People are very forgiving, and we can get back to sanity together and rebuild and make this country the greatest it can possibly be. As this New York Times headline clearly illustrates, the paradigm has changed. Companies need to listen to our movement. We are powerful and growing every single day. We will not stop until we have eliminated wokeness in corporate America. If you love our work to remove wokeness from corporate America, follow me, share these videos, subscribe to my X page. It's $5 a month. It supports our research team. But please tell your friends about this, and let's keep this movement growing.
Wow, Robbie Starbuck. I'm sorry that I didn't know that you were Latino with that name like Robbie Starbuck. New film streaming, The War on Children, Cuban American. Oh, there it is. Used direct stars. Now I Fight for Freedom. Used to direct stars. Now I Fight for Freedom. Filmmaker and host. Wow, what a guy. What a guy. All right. If you haven't done so, share the program. We also have some really good news for you coming from our app. Take a look at this. The app has been updated. Now the minimizing, what is it called? Minimizing feature? The minimize feature. The minimize feature is on. So please make sure that you download it. I know that a lot of you guys had been having issues with not being able to minimize this whilst doing other things on your phone. Now we have that capability. So there you have it. Download it today. Available on Google Play and the App Store. Next. That's exciting. Imagine talking about DEI. If Jaguar released a second ad like this, it would be the best marketing move in the history of Jaguar. Take a look. I'd buy a Jaguar. That coffee is strong. Next. All right, here we go. Absolutely tragic. Over the weekend, Texas officials encountered a caravan of 250 illegal migrants with over 60 unaccompanied minors. Among them, there was a little 2-year-old girl holding nothing but one piece of paper with the name and phone number. Sanctuary cities enable and incentivize the most grotesque human rights abuse imaginable. They must be stopped, and the officials who obstruct ICE from doing their jobs must be charged, including every single governor. Next, or rather, this is a 5-minute video. Let's see how long I can. I'll last. Play.
Had this interview with a 2-year-old at the border without her parents. Watch.
Venezuela, mamá. Venezuela. ¿Sí? ¿Qué tantos años tienes? 2 años. ¿No vienes con tu mamá y tu papá? ¿No? ¿Venezuela? ¿Para dónde vas, mamá? ¿Dónde están? ¿Estados Unidos?
That two-year-old was part of a group of 211 migrants who were crossing over into Maverick County. There were 60 unaccompanied minors. 60 little kids like that. And you know what? No parents to be seen. There she is showing that she's 2 years old. All she's got is that piece of paper. And on that piece of paper is a name and a phone number. And her entire future is on that piece of paper. Can you imagine you lose that piece of paper? But that's the way this system is set up, and that's how the cartels are gaming it. There's the person, they're going to call that number, they're going to say, we've got this little girl down at the southern border, Maverick County. How can we get her to you?
Does that work? Do they actually call the number?
They absolutely do.
And they put them back together with mom and dad?
It's not mom and dad.
No, it's not mom and dad, dummy.
Human traffickers.
Right, but they say she said
mom and dad.
Yeah, who cares, you idiot?
First of all, so many thoughts go
That's
through
probably
our
what she was
minds.
told.
Yeah. My mommy and daddy, like, she hasn't been trained.
Come across without their child. Why would they send their child? Is that how?
That's exactly right, you dummy!
What is the reason? But it breaks your heart when you see this happening. And this little girl, no telling who she's going to. It's a safety issue.
Yeah, no telling who she's going to.
Is she going to be trafficked? Is she going to some person that's going to put
There's
her to work
300,000 missing children.
I heard you're on your show this weekend. You talked about how
Pat, pause.
That was Eileen.
We covered that this in last week's show, that some of them are getting delivered to strip clubs. Hello? Play.
You're making $2 a day down in Mexico. You can make $6 an hour if you go to America. That's the ploy to get them to come, and then they come here and they never pay off their debt and they have to keep working.
Yeah, Hughes Tara wrote this. She asked to help. When she showed up, she wasn't playing puzzles. She wasn't playing jacks with these kids. She was realizing they were being sent out with strangers. She told that, and then she eventually got fired for speaking up. Listen to her story.
The government made an all-call. They knew they had a crisis at the border in 2021, and me and a lot of other federal employees, we raised our hand and said, hey, send me. I will go. I thought I was going to be doing puzzles and playing games with the kids. The children were telling us that they did not know who they were going to, or worse, that they were actually lured here, and that they were told, hey, if you come to the United States, out of the goodness of my heart, I'm going to pay your journey, but you've got to stay with me, and you have to work off your debt until your debt is paid. And of course, the children are never able to get out of debt bondage. They've done incredible things to hide the story. As a matter of fact, still today, HHS is stonewalling the data. Why is HHS holding on to data that would lead to the rescue of children and the prosecution of traffickers who are harming the children?
What do you think?
The administration has left a mess. It's broken. This program is broken. This can be fixed with the new administration.
Yes,
and RFK is the right person. She's talked to him already.
Well, because the HHS manages that when it comes to those separated children. I was listening to the debate back and forth. Some of them, their parents are here, and some of them, their parents aren't there. And they traffic them, they pump the girls that are coming across the border with birth control. A lot of those young girls are raped. Part of the thing that was not discussed about the separating children from the parents, sometimes it's not their families, and that is a huge problem.
That's why they got the DNA kits.
The majority of the time.
Biden did. We're stopping that. It makes no sense. So Steve, you said maybe it's not their parents, maybe it is their parents. You know how to find out? Swab the cheek.
Right, but
Swab the cheek.
That particular little girl was all by herself. And they say, well, here's the number for your parents. They're in the United States. That's what she was told. She doesn't know if they're actually going to be there. So we're talking a little bit about the children who are coming in the country right now. There's an eye-opening piece right now in the New York Times talking about, there are millions of migrants in the country right now illegally. And what they're doing, they're freaking out. They hear that Donald Trump's going to change everything, so they are racing to get ahead on the crackdown. They're calling immigration lawyers. They're going to information meetings by NGOs. They're trying to inoculate themselves. Essentially, people with green cards who are fine are trying to become citizens as quickly as they can. People who have squishy background where it's like they came into the country illegally, but they've got that paper, what they're doing is they're trying to get an asylum claim. And ultimately, people who are involved in relations with Americans are trying to marry those Americans so they get a green card. Right now, that's going on across the country right now.
You just showed when those kids got separated from their parents, so they brought over for a 6-week window back in 2017 was a huge deal. We could have been seeing that video from day one for the last 4 years. A little girl saying, I'm 2 years old and telling her story. I wonder if it's because Biden lost. Now the Border Patrol is getting a little bit more freedom.
People are finally understanding.
To show the urgency of the story. And I think Tom Homan, I love that he's out front right now and not quiet. He's getting everybody ready for what's going to be happening and giving everyone a comprehensive court.
Oh my goodness, this is disgusting. The fact that they covered this up until Trump was elected, how disgusting. And may they expose all of it in Jesus' name. Next. Scoop. U.S. Capitol Police Union members tell me Ashley Babbitt's killer, Captain Byrd, is a DEI hire, promoted up ranks despite failing multiple training tests, mishandling firearms, and his reckless, racist hothead, who was trigger happy on January 6th because he thought Trump rioters out to kill blacks. So, of course, this is all just allegations, but I thought that it was interesting, especially in light of the DEI news. Next. Oh, yeah. There you go. Holy smokes, Democrat mega donor John Morgan says Kamala Harris's political future is over, and she completely botched her campaign. If you can't run a campaign, you can't run a country. I'm curious to know what he says. Play the video.
His name is Morgan, and he has raised a lot of money for Democrats. Happy Thanksgiving, big brother. Thank you very much for coming on this show and helping my audience.
Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving.
So, John, I never heard anything like this before. Do you think somebody stole the money?
Well, maybe illegally.
Steal money from the Democratic Party.
To me, you remember the movie Mad
It's all a
Max?
money laundering scheme. Are you
Just doing
serious?
whatever they wanted into the world. That's what happened here. All of a sudden, everybody's got the keys to the candy store. Ad buyers, talent, consultants. There's 100 days to do it. And the money started pouring in. Remember this, Chris. It wasn't pouring in for Harris. It was pouring in against Trump. Everybody that was voting and supporting Harris was really voting against Trump. And everybody that was voting for Trump was voting for Trump.
That's true.
So she had all this money coming in. She had all these consultants. And if you don't run the ads, you don't get paid for the buy. They were running ads in Florida, where I live, nonstop. And I'm like, why?
You have no chance.
In Alabama and Idaho, too? I'll tell you why. If you don't run the ads, the buyer doesn't get paid. $900,000 to put her face on the Sphere in Las Vegas.
That's right.
In the Sphere, the ego, the crazy, the commissions. I was at the White House for a dinner Friday night, talking to a lot of people, and I'm telling you, man, there's a lot of whispering. There's a lot of names about who got paid this and who got paid that, and a lot of people got rich on the back of donors trying to stop Trump. And I think this disqualifies her forever. Yes. If you can't run a campaign, you can't run America. And that would be the argument just day one. So it was terrible. I think she did a good job in the debate. I think she did as good a job as she could hope for in a short period of time. I told everybody.
Arguably her only highlight of her campaign.
She was not going to win, and she didn't win, and she lost badly. So she's got to go figure out her life. She's in Hawaii. Tim Walz was at the dinner. She was in Hawaii. So she's having a call with donors this week. They tell me about her political future. I don't think she has a political future. So that's my thought on her.
How bad is this for the party going forward?
Oh, my goodness.
It's terrible because...
Pause.
When you don't...
She's in Hawaii, guys. Think about that. She still has a few months left to this administration. She should still be working. But this campaign, just like we kind of thought was happening there around October and early November, she was gassed. She was totally and mentally, like physically gassed, mentally gassed. There was a picture of her in a school bus or on a bus, like asleep with her head back. She was absolutely exhausted. So do you think she would have made a good president? It's disgusting. And what she's done to her Democratic donors at this point, I mean, this is really, really bad. So I'm really curious to know what he says next. Play.
Trust. It's like Andrew Gillum down here in Florida. He lost by just a little bit. But the money was, to DeSantis, just a little bit. But the money was so squandered and kept that, and he was going to take all that money he kept and rebuild the party. The Republicans got 1 million more voters now. What happened in Florida is
Love you, Fed.
Gillum is the same thing is going to follow Harris for the rest of her career. She cannot be trusted with the money.
No, she cannot.
And the party and the donors are going to be like.
Can you also pull up back media? Can you pull up? I don't think I isolated it, but it's Joe Biden's final dinner where he just gets a little bit choked up. I wanted to watch that. I haven't watched it. Play.
Where is this money going?
Where has it gone?
The former ambassador called me and said, I'm having a fundraiser, for this like 2 days before the election. I said, well, how can you spend the money? Well, we need it for GOTV. I said, no.
See, I'm telling you.
Once Biden was out, as you know, Chris, I said, that's it. I'm a Biden guy. I wasn't Harris.
Wow. Next. Democratic Party is in shambles. It's so bad. You know it's bad when Bill Clinton has to say something about the Democratic Party. Play. Uh-oh.
I can't say I was surprised. I had the feeling all along that at the end, this thing might break one way or the other, and all the so-called swing states would vote together because the last 2, 3, 4% were actually pretty much alike. At least this time, there is no question that he actually won both the popular vote and the Electoral College.
Now and this is shocking.
Before he lost the popular vote and only won the Electoral College because of the late intervention of James Comey, and I think the false presentation of the email issue.
You know that's a lot
of change for people to digest. A lot of economic adversity and upheaval.
You think?
A lot of political upheaval. A lot of social developments.
That's gracious.
And if you think about it, some of the votes that happened in the last election are people who are just exhausted by uncertainty and tired of carrying it around. And that always helps.
Oh my goodness. President Bill Clinton, golly, for the win! What a guy! Oh my goodness, we should keep displaying that over and over again. Wow, what a victory. Not only do you win the electoral, you win the popular, and then you're having Democrats turn on their own party. Next. Woo! It's just like, could there be any better news than this? I mean, I don't know. Every single day I feel like I'm so used to covering just, craziness and, like he said, uncertainty and stuff like that. Now it's just, I don't know. It's just there's no room for negativity. You know what I mean? I don't know, guys. Is there any more music that we can add on here? Because I feel like none of this stuff works anymore. I feel like this is just too mean for the world that we live in now. You know what I'm saying? So why don't you guys just add some good songs here, because we need something more positive. The Stream Deck needs to have a facelift of sorts. What's more positive? No, okay, here it is. Biden broke down in tears during his final farewell dinner at the White House as Jill Biden called him her husband and hero. How rich. Play.
The last 4 years
was destroy this country. Breathtaking. Yeah, in a negative way. Like somebody who just punched you in the stomach. Get the hell out of here. What? Don't let the door hit you with a good Lord split you. Get out. Get out. Next. There you go. Don't visit your parents. Who brought you into this world, bathed and fed you, clothed you, and probably paid for your frickin' college? Play.
I'm not going home for Thanksgiving this year. I'm 31, and it's my first time standing up to my family like this, and it honestly feels like a huge relief. I'm not doing this to punish them or to be petty, but I did let them know that it just makes me too angry and upset to be around them right now, and this Thanksgiving, I simply have to excuse myself from the family table. I debated going to Thanksgiving and making a huge scene and having a blowout over politics, but in the end, I actually don't think that that's going to be effective or a good use of my energy. I genuinely feel that letting them know that this is really personal to me and it does affect me and that this is something that will keep me from family holidays is actually kind of a way to get through to like conservative boomer families more so than anything else. And my goal really isn't to change their mind because they've been pretty deeply entrenched in their value set for many, many years, and it's the one they indoctrinated me into. But with Thanksgiving coming on the heels of such an atrocious election, I just thought I would share that I'm doing something different this year and that it's sad, but it feels right.
I'm so sad for people who have to have family members like this. I really am. It's interesting because I keep seeing this, like, don't talk about politics during Thanksgiving. Every single last person in my entire family voted like me. So thank you, Lord. That's things to be grateful for. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Next. Oh, snap. Nicole Shanahan lays out the Maha agenda so articulately in this clip. I really like this lady. Play.
Many of the pharmaceutical companies and their top investors have had emergency meetings over the last week, and I've been hearing rumors about it. You know, we get our calls as well, and people are like, "Is this really happening? Is this actually happening? Can you give us some insight as to what Bobby's going to do?" And I was like, "Look, it's not about Pfizer being." Or pharmaceutical companies being bad, right? They've done some very bad things, but the idea of them in and of itself is actually quite positive. You know, do the research, come up with interesting treatments and drugs, and just be honest. And if the vaccine works, that's wonderful. If there are injuries, let's understand and screen those populations in advance and come up with different schedules. You know, mumps, measles, rubella.
Listen to this.
3 and 1. If you talk to some of the doctors when they vaccinate their kids, they actually seek out each of these vaccines separately. Measles vaccine separate from the mumps and rubella, and they'll give their children that single shot, you know, on a slightly different timeline. You know, we have so many things we can do to save this industry and to save these companies. It's not necessarily we want Pfizer to disappear overnight, and we don't want the stock to tank. In fact, we'd love for it to be a successful stock that is directly tied with health outcomes. I mean, if that was the case, we wouldn't have a problem here, but that's not the case. That the increase in their stock price over the last 10 years has been directly tied to many injuries that have been swept under the rug, as that has been the case with Merck. And so the correction we're seeing right now is the right one, that they made a mistake. The company has failed in its duty to deliver a safe and effective product, and it's time for them to readjust.
Wow, what a lady. Next. Thank you, President Trump. This one's personal. I'm glad I fought for you. This is coming from Scott Adams, which, if you didn't know, persuasion expert, great guy. He had a son who passed away from a fentanyl overdose. I have had many talks with China about the massive amounts of drugs, in particular fentanyl, being sent into the United States, but to no avail. Can you enlarge it? I'm sorry. There it is. Where did I go? Representatives of China told me that they would institute their maximum penalty, that of death, for any drug dealers caught doing this. But unfortunately, they never followed through. And drugs are pouring into the country, mostly through Mexico, at levels never before seen. Until such time as they stop, we will be charging China an additional 10% tariff above any additional tariffs on all of their products coming to the United States of America. Thank you for your attention to this matter. I mean, literally such good news because you went out and you voted. Your vote matters, and guess what? This is going to be huge, absolutely massive. Next. Breaking, President Trump plans to rehire military members with that Biden fired for rejecting the COVID-19 vaccine and give them an apology with full pay back. I know that this is coming from Bo Loden. I know several military members that have gotten their jobs back with full pay. So could you imagine if this is done en masse? I mean, wowie, wow. It really undoes the schemes that happen via COVID-19, because if you have to pay fully all of the people that you had let go, I mean, that's a disaster. That's a disaster for the Democrats. Next. The Red Cross says that anyone who has their COVID-19 vaccine cannot donate convalescent plasma. Wait a minute. I don't think I'm supposed to be talking about COVID-19, right? So this video is, it says that the vaccine wipes out antibodies. So if you're going to donate blood, you can't donate if you've had the COVID-19 vaccine, allegedly. Next, here we go. Justin, moving right to Russia. All right, what's going on in Russia? Russia says Donald Trump is trying to negotiate peace plans with Biden-Harris administration is seeking to escalate the conflict in Ukraine. So you have to wonder if this is true. What are they doing, this administration? What the H are they doing? How many days left till Trump gets in the office? How many days now? If it was, it's 58 days. No, it can't be 58 days. It's got to be less than that. Let me know. Next. How many? 55 days. 55 days till Trump gets in that office. Hold on, Putin, please. Putin bans adoption of Russian children to nations that allow child sex changes. What a guy. Doesn't sound so evil, does he? Next. CNN is losing their minds because a majority of Americans say they're excited about Trump's taking over. It's not just you and I here at Check the News. Take a look at this poll.
Take a look here. President Trump's transition net approval. You go back to November of 2016. Look at this. It was just at plus 1 point. Just at plus 1 point. That is well below the historical norm. Look at where we are today. Significantly higher. Plus 18 points. That's 17 points higher on the presidential transition net approval rating. The bottom line is this. If 8 years ago Americans were lukewarm on Donald Trump, at this particular point they're giving him much more the benefit of the doubt. A lot more Americans are in love with this transition. This much more meets the historical norms where normally presidents get that boost coming out of their victory. And what we're seeing here is Donald Trump's presidential transition is getting a thumbs up, and dare I say, 2 thumbs up from the American people.
And we're still in the appointment phase at this point, but it does give insight to sort of where this team is thinking to lead some of these key departments, of course. I mean, but how do people feel about the prospects of his presidency, given the context of some of these picks?
Yeah, it's not just that they like what Donald Trump is doing right now. They're optimistic for the future. So, again, let's compare ourselves now versus where we were 8 years ago. And what you see 8 years ago, 53% of Americans were scared or concerned, the majority towards the upcoming Trump term. Look at where we
Interesting.
are
It did a
now.
little
The shoe is
flip-floppy.
on the other foot. 53% of Americans are excited or optimistic. It's flip-flop, where a narrow majority 8 years ago were scared or concerned about the upcoming Trump term. Now what we see is that the majority is excited or optimistic about the Trump term. So what we're just seeing is very different numbers from where we were 8 years ago. 8 years ago, folks really were not that in love with the Trump transition. Now they are, and more than that, looking forward to the upcoming Trump term. 8 years ago, the majority were scared or concerned. Now the majority are excited or optimistic.
That feels right. That feels right. Next. All right, incoming border czar. We're going to be taking a look at the cabinet here in the next in the following. Well, I'll have to take a look. Maybe we'll have to save it for after Thanksgiving. There are, so far, I have isolated 27 names of that are on new and Trump has selected for his cabinet. There are some really good ones, there's some bad ones, and then there's some really freaking ugly ones. This guy happens to be a really good one. Play.
Tom, you heard this mayor out there in Colorado. I want to get your reaction to it, and I want you to be clear about
I can't wait till you get it. Come on, borders on.
And if you're a sanctuary state or city, are you breaking the law?
You're absolutely breaking law. All you have to do is look at Arizona versus U.S. You'll see he's breaking law. But look, me and the Denver mayor, we agree on one thing. He's willing to go to jail. I'm willing to put him in jail. Because there's a statute. It's Title 8 United States Code 1324, IIII. And what it says is, it's a felony if you knowingly harbor and conceal an illegal alien from immigration authorities. It's also a felony to impede a federal law enforcement officer. So if we don't want to help, that's fine. He can get the hell out of the way. But we're going to go do the job. President Trump has a mandate for American people. We got to secure this country. We got to save American lives. And I find it shocking that any mayor of a city would say, the President Trump's been clear, we want to concentrate on public safety threats and national security threats. I find it hard to believe that any mayor or governor would say they don't want public safety threats removed from their neighborhoods. I mean, I don't know what the hell is going on in Denver, but we're going to go and we're going to fix it. If you don't want to fix it, if you don't want to protect these communities, President Trump and ICE will.
Hey, bro, that's so good. Bro, that's so good. Next. The cats and dogs are safe again. Why? Because the Haitians are fleeing Springfield, Ohio. Where are they going? Anybody? Okay, so yes, this is good news for Springfield, but where did they go? Where do they go? Is anyone missing a cat? Play.
President-elect Trump's threat to carry out mass deportations is putting immigrant communities across the nation on edge. Take Springfield, Ohio, where Trump accused Haitian immigrants without any evidence of eating pets. Well, many are now leaving the city fearing deportation. CBS's Nicole Valdez spoke with a woman in Springfield about the uncertain future for her community.
I just bought that. It takes a long time.
What is in there, lady?
Kathleen Moyes fled unspeakable violence in her homeland of Haiti 6 years ago.
What's in there?
Hoping to find peace and a slice of the American dream.
I stay here. I do two jobs to make my business. That's why I don't go back Haiti.
How many people do you think that you know have left Springfield?
I know almost 10 people.
And who are those people?
It's not that many.
Friends, my neighbors.
There's like 30,000.
She saved money for years and recently opened a restaurant. One of the thousands of Haitian immigrants building a life in Springfield, Ohio.
Can I have you?
Who now find themselves in the crosshairs of the incoming administration.
We're going to have the largest deportation in the history of our country, and we're going to start with Springfield.
Moist, like most, are here legally through temporary protected status, which President-elect Trump has vowed to end.
I can't talk.
Are you touching the food?
It's difficult.
Those glasses?
I'm scared because on my business 80 is born. I lost my mom. Someone come in the business. They shoot my mom in the gun. Born my business. Get the protection, go back 80. For me especially, I gonna be die. I gonna be dead.
Many Haitians
through the
are leaving town, even Moise's own daughter.
When your daughter told you she wanted to leave, did you think about also leaving?
Yes, I keep thinking about that. I don't don't know where I'm gonna go, but I keep taking it.
Who eats at a Haitian restaurant?
We're hoping everything works
Hell
out
no,
the
I
way
ain't
it needs
eating
to
there.
work out.
Hell no.
God somehow works everything out, you know?
Amen. Come on.
You have everything.
That's right.
Faith fueling Moise's motivation to keep cooking, to stay in Springfield. While her business and her future
She'll be fine. Next.
in the balance.
Now do some sort of like rapist or something. I mean, I don't understand how this all of a sudden becomes the total truth, the complete truth of what's happening in Springfield, Ohio. As if there's not a 30,000, I think it was the last number, the count of Haitians illegally living in Springfield, Ohio, using up taxpayer money, eating the dogs, eating the cats. There's footage of them, walking around with dead geese. Anyways, breaking, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis reminds local officials that they have no authority to obstruct federal enforcement of immigration laws and warns that anyone who attempts such obstruction in Florida will be held accountable. Next. Where is, what does he look like now? I feel like I haven't seen Governor Ron DeSantis in a while. Is there any news on him? I feel like he's just been MIA. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Pastor Faith, she needed to change those gloves. She's going to be touching the food. She was touching the food, and then she was wiping all of her face. So, I mean, hard pass. Hard pass. You know what I'm saying? Did you check the market? No? Tell me what's going on with NVIDIA. People are selling.
Yeah.
Why?
Because it was way too overpriced.
I mean, but how did it get, why recently? Why just, what happened? Was there something Elon said?
No. People are taking their money out of NVIDIA and investing back into cryptocurrency.
Oh, so they're a little sleight of hand here. Uh-huh. That makes sense. Because I was just listening to Scott Adams. He sold all of his NVIDIA. I was like, that's interesting. Did you hear about what powers batteries? Not ethanol.
Oh,
lithium. Lithium is coming down in price. Allegedly.
That could be.
I mean, think about that for, some of those vehicles where you don't have to worry about having to basically, if you have to just replace a battery for $5,000.
They're also working on other types of batteries that could potentially be better and hold charge longer than lithium. So lithium might not be the end-all be-all.
Sure. That's really interesting. All right, that's all. Next. All right, what's this? President Trump's incoming Surgeon General says she would not support mask mandates. But here's one of the picks that I am completely dumbfounded. She has changed her tone because this was not what she was saying just 4 years ago. So I'm not quite sure why in the HE double hockey sticks he chose this lady of all of the ladies, and then also Dr. Oz Mehmet. Anyway, we'll cover it in the following days to come. I don't want to get into it because I really just want to give you a proper presentation of who's who, like what was his 2016 pick compared to 2024. And so we can kind of formulate and navigate this together. But this one pisses me off. Play.
Dr. Neshwa, I'll start with you. What do you think about this? At this point, is there any reason to have mandates?
Absolutely not, Carly. I think it's illogical to mandate something that's ineffective.
Then why didn't you say that 4 years ago?
Young, healthy college students who are low risk to mask up and to live like a hermit, to social distance, and to avoid, large.
Pull up Janet Neshaywatt. Pull up a video of her in 2020 saying quite literally the opposite and wanting to mask children. Play.
Large gatherings and parties, but I can tell you firsthand, having taken care of thousands of COVID patients, these little flimsy surgical masks, they're ineffective. Now, if you choose to wear a mask, and if you're in a high-risk group, that's one thing, and you probably want to wear an N95 mask, but to mandate masks, to mandate vaccines at this point, I think is the wrong move. To shut down schools, to have remote learning, absolutely breaks my heart. I can tell you my last shift, I saw about 55 patients, had about 8 or 9 who tested tested positive for COVID. All of them, their symptoms were mild, sniffles, cough, sore throat, that sort of thing, but they did very well. And it's important to remember, Carly, we now have the tools to treat COVID. It's not like where we were 3 years ago.
Yeah, it's a great next traitor. I don't really like that one. I really don't. I mean, and I love this administration, but that one ticks me off. But what about 4 years ago? Oh, here we go. Okay, flashback. Trump's Surgeon General pick, Dr. Jeanette Shuttlesworth, was an early advocate for COVID vaccines. She was strong on lockdowns and encouraged children to get vaccinated. What an absolute jerk. Let's read the highlights. Dr. Janet Shuttlesworth, COVID vaccines and the future. This is our path out of the pandemic. Continue. Let's see what else. Health officials, this is coming from her own account. Just 3 years ago, health officials plan to discuss Pfizer vaccine stroke findings in January 26. That's in 2 weeks. Answers are needed now, not in 2 weeks. Perhaps seniors who just had Pfizer vax need a blood thinner, i.e. aspirin, for 21 days, but this can't be recommended until more data is disclosed. Okay, next. A big mistake. The CDC allowed us sick doctors, nurses to work while COVID positive, but you are penalized those who already natural immunity. Well, this isn't so bad. Next. Next, if CDC approves a COVID vaccine addition to the routine schedule of Vax for Kids, it will mark the most egregious. Wait a minute. So she was pro this or not? May God give them wisdom and encourage them to vote appropriately, especially for vax that can't prevent disease. Interesting. Next. Breaking. Donald Trump announces that one of his first acts as president will be to initiate a 25% tariff on all products coming in from Mexico and Canada. So this, now they get an additional 10% tariff until they chill out with the fentanyl, which is absolutely incredible. The decision comes in response to Mexico and Canada allowing crime and drugs to pour into the United States. As everyone is aware, thousands of people are pouring through Mexico and Canada, bringing crimes and drugs at levels never before seen. Right now, a caravan coming from Mexico. Where is this caravan? We started doing this last week. And do they show up? I mean, we started seeing maybe some come trickle through, but there was thousands of people there. Right now, a caravan, there it is. On January 20th, as one of many first executive orders, I will sign the necessary documents to charge Mexico and Canada a 25% tariff on all products. Listen, keep your eye on Mexico because their leader is this wicked lady. All right. And so more on Mexico in the slides to come. This tariff will remain in effect until such time as drugs, in particular fentanyl, and all illegal aliens stop this invasion of our country. Both Mexico and Canada have the absolute right and power to easily solve this long simmering problem. We hereby demand that they use this power, and until the time that they do, it's time for them to pay a very high price. During a recent interview, Trump's Commerce Secretary pick Howard Lutnick gives an example of how Trump will use tariffs on as a bargaining chip. I believe we've watched this before, but let's watch it again. Play.
And of course it's a bargaining chip. We can't sell a Ford or GM in Europe. You go to Europe, you can't sell a Ford or GM. Why? There's 100% tariffs. How about in Japan? 100% tariffs. So do you think if we said, we're going to tariff you the way you tariff us, do you think they're going to allow Mercedes and all these Japanese companies and Porsches and BMWs to all of a sudden have 100% tariffs in America? Of course not. They're going to come and negotiate, and their tariffs are going to come down. And finally, Ford and General Motors are going to be able to sell in these places.
How's that sound?
Of course they're going to come down. Of course. This is just negotiating.
It absolutely makes sense. If you do it strategically, if it's across the board, it creates a real problem. And the question is whether you believe the president is going to do it strategically or across the board. He keeps saying it across the board.
Well, when you're running for office, you make broad statements so people understand you. Right. Tariffs are an amazing tool by the president to use. They're an amazing tool, but he understands don't tariff stuff we don't make, right? If we don't make it and you want to buy it, I don't want to put the price up there. It's pointless, but use
use tariffs to build in America, if we want to make it in America, tariff it, or if we're competing with it, tariff it. But you got to remember, we need to protect the American worker. Finally, someone's going to protect the American worker.
Indeed.
Donald Trump is here to protect the American worker.
Do you think we make a lot of money in tariffs, or if they're used as negotiating tactics? Look, tariffs will come down there. We're not going to have super high tariffs here either. There's not going to be a big pot of money at the end of the day.
I love that story. So which is it? Do we make a lot of money on tariffs, or we bring productivity here and we drive up our workers here? So it's a win-win scenario. I like both of them. I think what's going to happen is we'll make a bunch of money on the tariffs, but mostly because everybody else is going to negotiate with us, and we will be more fair. In 1948, right, we came up with something called the Marshall Plan, right? The world, Germany and Japan were destroyed after World War II, and we wanted to export our economy to them. So we made a rule. They could tariff us, and we won't tariff them. So they can rebuild.
This is the best explanation I've heard of.
So they can rebuild their economy. We rebuilt their economy using something called the Marshall Plan.
Yeah.
Our economy is so awesome that we'll use it to help you rebuild. When should that have ended? What do you think, 1980? Right? 1985? I mean, why 40 years are Japan and Germany and all of Europe still tariffing the heck out of our auto industry, tariffing the heck out of our furniture industry? Do you realize all your furniture you're buying that's made foreign? It seems crazy. Why? It's because they tariff us and we don't tariff them. It's so obvious.
Amazing. Amazing. What a guy. Next. All right. Breaking President. Well, who is this coming from? Why is that like thing? President Trump announces that on day one, he will impose 25% tariff. We already covered this. Next. There it is from the horse's mouth. Dr. Mehmet Oz is the devil in disguise. Not only did he endorse gender transitioning for children, but he also promoted RFID microchips, referred to as many as the mark of the beast, as a revolutionary. It's not funny, but I just think it's funny. In Revelation 13. So, Mehmet Oz, not my cup of tea. I mean, maybe you guys, maybe I could be persuaded differently. What is he now? What was he in charge of now? It was Medicaid or something, Medicare, Secretary of Medicaid and Medicare or something like that. Maybe he'll do good at that, so long as he stays away from transitioning children. Next. Just in, Donald Trump is expected to kick transgender troops out of the U.S. military as early as January 20th. The move would remove about 15,000 transgender active service members. They would be medically discharged, which would determine that they were unfit to serve. Thank you, the Times reported. It would also lead to a ban on trans people joining the military and would come at a time when almost all branches of American armed forces are failing to meet recruitment targets. During a recent podcast with Sean Ryan, Pete Hegseth spoke about wokeism in the military, blaming it on recruitment drop-off. Play.
And that's why I think it's our only way out is... and that's why I do think we're at an existential moment. I'm not trying to be hyperbolic here when it comes to the DOD. I think we're at a shit or get off the pot moment. Yeah. We are at a tipping point for total institutional corruption. And Trump has a chance to reverse that when he wins. Because what the military did, I didn't finish the thought on that, is they committed a Bud Light. Like in search of a non-traditional constituency, they offended their core constituency. So there aren't enough lesbians in San Francisco to man the 82nd Airborne. Mm-hmm. And in trying to cater to that, they lost the boys from Tennessee and Kentucky and Oklahoma.
Dang.
The traditional dudes who did it because they loved their country, or they wanted the adventure, or they wanted to try tough things, or they need an up and out of their community, whatever it is. They're like, if I wanted to do the woke crap, I could go to the local community college. Being transgendered in the military causes complications and differences. And the book kind of lays out the common arguments that those on the left or others make, which are baked in social justice. So it started, you saw it under Clinton with the tinkering of Don't Ask, Don't Tell and the reasons for those changes. And I talked to some of the people involved in when that was changed. But it really started to accelerate under Obama.
And you saw it you saw the trans stuff come at the end of the Obama administration. You saw the women in combat come at the end of the Obama administration. It's because they looked around at the bureaucracies that they controlled in Washington, and the one that was that they didn't control. Obama spent a disproportionate amount of time focusing on the Pentagon. They were skeptical of leadership and eventually brought in political appointees and generals who would do their bidding the way they wanted, which, as you know, in a top-down organization changes the ethos of the whole thing. So the book is meant to pull the whole curtain back, mostly from Obama forward, and explain how the army that I enlisted in, or that I swore an oath in 2001 and was commissioned in 2003, looks a lot different than the army of today because we're focused on a lot of the wrong things.
Wow, what a guy. Next. They were going to destroy the Constitution. This is coming from Elon Musk. Thank God they lost. So here are all of the news articles that were against the Constitution. Praise the Lord. Trump is in. Whoop dee whoop. Next. Pam Bondi. What do I think about her? I don't know. U.S. Attorney General nominee Pam Bondi on students in the United States on visas who expressed their support for Hamas. Play.
These students in universities in our country, whether they're here as Americans or if they're here on student visas, and they're out there saying, I support Hamas. You and I have seen that on all of these television shows. Frankly, they need to be taken out of our country, or the FBI needs to be interviewing them right away when they're saying, I support Hamas, I am Hamas. That's not saying I support all these poor Palestinians who are trapped in Gaza. That's not what they're saying. So I think their student visas need to be revoked. I think we need to reinstate President Trump's travel ban immediately.
Wow.
There's a lot of things that can be done to stop this. Yeah, the anti-Semitism that's rampant throughout this country now, and it's truly, truly heartbreaking to see what's happening to all of our Jewish friends in this country by really I think a lot of ignorant kids and students and people who don't understand that Hamas equals terrorism, even worse, at its worst.
Wow. I mean, isn't that refreshing to hear? I mean, it feels like a new era. It's a new dawn. It's a new day. This thing keeps clipping. I don't know. Can you hear it? Or was it just the video? Oh, all right. Sweet. Next. Joy Reid. Oh, I'm so sorry to have to do this to you guys, but here we are. Take a look at this. MSNBC is going under. Could this be the November surprise that we need to just like the little cherry on top? Take a look at what she has to say. This lady.
Because you're talking about deploying the U.S. military. Remember, Mark Esper, who was Donald Trump's Secretary of Defense for a while, told him, no, you cannot shoot American citizens. You can't have the military shoot American citizens. He's going to replace people in the Department of Defense with people who will say you can, and that you can deploy the military against protesters, that you can arrest journalists for reporting things that Donald Trump doesn't like. That sort of thing, right?
That is exactly right. One of the things that Ross Vogt did after he sort of left the administration in this sort of interregnum period that he's had, and has been referenced with that 180-day agenda, is that they have been building out the legal documentation, or what they consider to be the legal documentation, to justify internally the deployment of the military. I know it sounds hysterical. How can we possibly? This sounds so outrageous. No, this is part of the plan. Like they literally wrote a plan down and then prepared all the supporting documentation so they could check off that box. And then this is where the personnel piece comes in. They're making sure they have the right people to implement it. Ross Vogt gave a speech where he talked about the fact that he was planning on doing this, or at least to have the resources ready so that if there was sufficient blowback, they could deploy it. And I just want to put a bow on it to note that one of the through lines here is why they want to sort of, it's not just revenge against their political opponents. That obviously gets a lot of fear. But the part that always stands out to me is that the rationale for why they need to do all these things is to end multiculturalism in America. That's not my term. That's what Ross Vogt said. That the reason why you go after immigrants first, that you start to implement all of these big radical changes, is that this is the beginning of the end of multiculturalism in America.
What complete psychopaths over at MSNBC. No wonder it's for sale. Play. Next. Elon waiting for Black Friday half off sale so he can buy MSNBC for just $30. Next. Love it. The Babylon Bee. All right, here it is. This is when you know it's getting bad over at MSNBC. Take a look.
Oh, hold on.
Elon Musk posts dangerous memes.
To at least 3. Put up the graphic of this.
Cry harder.
I think I'm gonna have to hand this off. Yeah. Sorry, that does it for us tonight. We'll see you again tomorrow. No.
One more time, please.
Oh.
Just give me a minute, please.
To at least 3.
What? Pause.
Put up the graphic of this.
Tell me you're struggling with mental health without telling me that you're struggling with mental health. Play.
I think I'm gonna have to hand this off. Yeah. Sorry, that does it for us tonight. We'll see you again tomorrow. No.
I don't even know what she said. What did she say at the end? I tried to catch it. Is there any closed captioning that we could read? I have no idea what she was saying. She was just babbling.
Hold on.
What? Could you imagine?
To at least 3.
What's going on? Rachel, are you okay?
Put up the graphic of this. I think I'm gonna have to hand this off. Yeah. Sorry, that does it for us tonight. We'll see you again tomorrow. No.
That does it for us tonight. We'll see you tomorrow. No. That's literally what she said at the end. Rachel Maddow, $25 million a year for a once-a-week show. And she can't even get through this kind of content. What? What is going on over at MSNBC? Scooey! Next. If you buy MSNBC, I would like to let Rachel... Oh, this is Joe Rogan's response to Elon Musk. If you buy MSNBC, I would like Rachel Maddow's job. I'll wear the same outfit and glasses, and I will tell the same lies. Throwing shade, Joe Rogan. Next. All right, what's this? Yeah, whatever, LMAO. You're the media now. The legacy media knows it. So Axios CEO melts down over Elon Musk telling ex-users, you're the media now. Let's take a look. I can't wait. Can't wait.
Everything
More
we do
meltdowns.
is under fire. Elon Musk sits on Twitter or X today saying, like, we are the media. You are the media.
Look how irate
My
this guy
message
is.
to Elon Musk is bullshit. You're not the media. You having a blue check mark, a Twitter handle,
that's enough.
And 300 words of cleverness,
yeah, that's
doesn't
enough.
make you a reporter. You don't do that.
It's way better. Why did you guys end it? Was that it? Is that the end of the video?
Everything we do is under fire. Elon Musk sits on Twitter every day or X today saying, like, we are the media. You are the media.
You got a little bit of dry mouth,
My
sir.
message to Elon Musk is bullshit. You're not the media. You having...
Listen, Axios, you don't compete where you don't compare,
a
okay?
Twitter handle and 300 words of cleverness doesn't make you a reporter. You don't do that by popping off on Twitter. You don't do that by having an opinion.
You want to bet? We've made a whole show out of it.
Hard work.
Yeah, come on, start clapping.
Scary! Oh, look, everybody at MSNBC is so thrilled. Axios, wow.
Extraordinary content. It needed to be said.
Yeah.
It continues
It needed to be said.
When
Ew.
all the garbage is flying
you
around
guys
on
are such
social media, lying
losers.
about reporters, lying about the hard work they do. Lying
They're all
about
banding
the hard
together
work
now.
Editors who lying about.
They know that their job is on the
and
line.
Down about not only their alternative set of facts, but alternative set of facts about what people like you do. Or if social media, people lying every day, every hour, every minute about the news.
Pause.
What you...
He literally said that people are lying every day, every hour, every minute. Meanwhile, we're literally watching him. He called Trump Hitler. Like, this guy is such a loser. MSNBC, here's hoping that this is the November surprise. You go under. Next. Hallmark is beating CNN and MSNBC in viewership. So, Pastor Faith, make sure you let Pastor Charity know that she is doing her part in eradicating legacy media. Take a look. Play.
Imagine you're CNN and MSNBC.
Yes.
You're at a point that you're okay losing to Fox. You're at a point that you're okay losing to Rogan. You're at a point that you may even okay losing to other podcasters, right? You know, election night, some people are putting more numbers than you are. We did that on election night. You're like, listen, those guys are amateurs. We're pros. We built the Titanic. The amateurs are building the Joe Rogan Experience, the PBD podcast, all this other stuff. But these are amateurs. But imagine you wake up one day.
Okay.
And your producer comes to you and says, guys, what? Hallmark just beat us. Well, wait, bro, what are you talking about? Hallmark just beat us. Tell me nobody's written that article yet. I wrote it already. That's bullshit. No. Hallmark? They make cards. Give them a Hallmark.
Yes.
Hallmark beat CNN and MSNBC in viewership last week.
No way.
Here's a supersized guide to rating in all 32 new holiday films. Can you imagine that?
Man.
How do you let Hallmark beat you? You can let a lot of people beat you. You cannot let Hallmark beat you. We're talking about practice, right? We're talking about Hallmark. We cannot be talking about Hallmark here, right? I mean, you understand what the reference of the great AI.
Listen, full transparency, I have not watched any Hallmark movies. So if there's any suggestions, please let me know in the comments, and I will do my part as well to eradicating legacy media. Next. Cocaine was found at Biden's White House. A dead body was found near Obama's house. And an illegal server was found at the Hillary Clinton's house. So the FBI decided to raid Mar-a-Lago. Every now and then we like to send you a little friendly reminder of what we've just been through. Next. All right, here it is. Take a look. This lady is... she just looks wicked. LOL, I didn't know Trump threatened to reveal the Mexican government's cartel connections unless they do what he wants on the border. So this is basically Scott Adams just kind of surmises, right? So he's just kind of putting two and two together because the Gateway Pundit did this. Mexican president folding after just one phone call with Trump. And so this is what Scott Adams' take on it is. LOL, I didn't know Trump threatened to reveal the Mexican government's cartel connections unless they do what he wants on the border. And he threatened massive tariffs. And he threatened to send special forces to get cartels. So it looks like Mexico is planning to be extra helpful on the border, and the Sinaloa cartel is killing fentanyl makers just to stay off Trump's bad side. Was that so hard? Is there any way that you could get this article? I'm just curious now. Next. Whoop-de-whoop, Trump, Trump, Trump. Make California great again. Guess what? Caitlyn Jenner is considering running as a Republican governor for California. I've seen Stranger Things. I'm not even going to lie. She's a very conservative, or he, she, whatever it is. I'm confused. This person is very conservative in their politics. So keep an eye on Caitlyn Jenner. Next. How strange. Breaking, special counsel Jack Smith files to drop all 4 felonies against President Trump-elect. Play. Woo!
I'm sorry, where are we going?
John, I'll jump in here. We've got some breaking news out of D.C. David Spunt reporting right now. Special counsel Jack Smith is seeking to dismiss the Trump election interference case in Washington, D.C. We should note that this was expected. We've been reporting for a few weeks now that this would happen since the DOJ cannot prosecute a sitting president. Today, this news brings us one step closer to this case formally being dropped. The judge is going to need approval for this before anything is officially dismissed, as David's reporting, and that could come as soon as today. I believe David Spunt is up now. He's got this news for us. David.
Viva the Trump.
Almost 2 years of this Jack Smith saga, things seem to be ending for him.
Oh, what a hairline on this guy.
To sign off on it after thousands of pages and hundreds of hours of interviews, it comes down to just 6 pages. Jack Smith, the special counsel, asking
Jack Smith.
Tanya Chutkan to dismiss this superseding indictment. This is the election interference case.
John Saxbury.
In Washington, D.C., where Donald Trump was
fabulous
with trying to overturn the results of the 2020 presidential election. Ultimately, Smith says that DOJ does not prosecute sitting presidents. This never went to trial. It was supposed to go to trial earlier this year. That never happened. So he's asking to dismiss this case. Separately, we're waiting.
You better believe he's going to ask to dismiss this case.
Asking to move forward in the documents.
Think about it. This is the case to drop election interference. Like, you better believe that he's going to drop that. You're going to drop that, and it's going to be dropped so fast it'll make your head spin. Especially after the numbers that turned out for this election. And all of the discrepancies, let me tell you, might I add, from the jump in numbers that Biden got. That was very suspicious. So anywho, great news coming from the Trump administration. Only 55 days, ladies and gents. Next. All right, Mexican president folding after just one phone call. All right, let's read a little bit more. The spark of resistance is officially gone as at least one foreign leader already appeared to be folding after just one phone call with Donald Trump. Man, to be in that room when he takes those calls. I mean, I just want to know what he's saying, how he's saying it. It must be poetry. It must be. I would just love that. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum is signaling that significant policy changes are on the table just days after post-election congratulatory call to the U.S. president-elect, which, by the way, she delayed. Trump reportedly shattered the cordial call by bringing up the most pressing issue on U.S.-Mexican relations, the lengthy border between our two countries and the unacceptable state of it. I can only imagine. She probably started off on like some sort of cordial, very noble tone, and then he just stops it right there. Again, like she paused and waited till all of they finished counting all of the votes, just to make sure that Donald Trump had actually won. Like, up yours. According to Fox News Digital, Sheinbaum is considering the adjustments in direct response to the incoming Trump administration. In recent press conference, the Mexican president gave assurances that the nation's sovereignty would not be lost while maintaining a positive relationship with Trump. The policy changes could be expected across multiple sectors as America's relationship with Mexico is more complicated than border security issues alone. A lot more complicated. Mexico's economy, while historically not the most robust, stands to lose in a big way. Basically, the cartel does. Tariffs floated by Trump would target Mexican exports. The automotive industry alone, an import sector in the country, could be among the most bloodied. According to the U.S. International Trade Administration, vehicle production, including the manufacturing of parts and technology for cars, in one of Mexico's most significant industries. The automotive sector alone accounts for 3.6% of Mexico's gross domestic product. Trump's targeting of the industry would undoubtedly shake factories' floors from Baja California to the Yucatan. Marcelo Ebrard, Mexico's economy minister, hinted that the nation may respond with tariffs of its own against the U.S. by all means. Another area where Sheinbaum administration will undoubtedly have to change gears is the border. While Mexican forces are working security on the country's border with the United States, the effort is laughably ineffective. A way to stay in Trump's good graces could be to simply guard the border. The nature of the situation is clear to at least some of Mexico's politicians. Next. Claudia Sheinbaum's administration will have to reinforce the security strategy on the southern border by deploying the National Guard and strengthening the presence of National Migration Institute. Mexico Congress Raul Torres told Fox News Digital. Trump's promised deportation effort, which he vows will be substantial, also stands to complicate matters for Sheinbaum. Now with coming Trump administration, everything is going to be much more complex because they will not only focus on immigration, but also trade and security. Baker Institute scholar Rodrigo Montes de Oca told Fox these names. In rushing to meet the results of Trump's policies, It's expected that Mexico may increase immigration enforcement. Many migrants enter Mexico through that country's own southern border and submit to working with U.S. authorities. Next. Is this so hard? And it seems Sheinbaum is not only the only Mexican politician that needs to worry. That is why Trump went so far as to say during the campaign that if Mexico did not cooperate on these issues, Montes de Oca continued, he would make public U.S. government intelligence information on politicians in Mexico who are related to drug cartels. There it is. Considering the cartel's influence in Mexico, Sheinbaum was elected after the record number, to know that information. Sheinbaum was elected after a record number of presidential candidate assassinations per Reuters. It's safe to say this would likely expose a significant amount of lawmakers. For Sheinbaum and Mexico in general, the expectations over the next 4 years are clear. Behave and help Trump's America restore order, or else. Love it. Next. Sticks and hammer, 666. The time for fear has ended. The deep state will never be weaker than it is now, and we have to kick it while it's down to keep it from getting up. And I thought that this was very cohesive with what we're seeing done on all fronts. I mean, we're talking about with diplomacy stuff, even this DEI stuff. I'm telling you, it's a new dawn. Can you do that? Who's the guy that sings that it's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life? Frank Sinatra. Will you isolate that for me and then put it on here for me? That would be perfect. It's a new dawn, it's a new day. Frank Sinatra. Next. Is that it? Okay, perfect. Since 2020, accountability from leaders was low and mainstream propaganda was high. This garbage is finally being taken out. Love to see it. Not going to watch it. Next. All right. Later. Losers. Whoop-dee-whoop.
Let's go, Brandon.
Next. Hi, Dean. I love your sweater. Winner, winner, turkey. Wow. Come on and show the people this real quick. This is perfect timing, too. This is absolutely perfect timing. Can you take a look at this sweater? Just in light of all of the winning that we're doing. I'm telling you right now, this is what a delight. When did you get this?
It just came in the mail.
Wow. Yes. Absolutely fan-freaking-tastic. This is what I want to sport. Winner, winner, turkey dinner. God bless America. God bless America. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. I love that. I love that. All right, next. Jimmy Kimmel says he's leaving the country because Trump won the election. I just want to let him know that if he needs a lift to the airport, I'm available, talentless, and never even remotely funny. From Roger Stone, God bless you. Look at all these people leaving the country. Is there something else going on? Is there something else coming down? Maybe the Diddy list, maybe the Epstein client list, maybe so many options that could be on the horizon. I don't know. Who knows? Next. Right, here we go. Macy's revealed Monday that a single employee's intentional misreporting of up to $154 million in expenses over nearly 3 years forced the company to delay its quarterly earnings report. An independent forensic investigation is underway, to which I have to say, $154 million, 3 years, and you're catching it now? What? Oh, hell no. Macy's, are you going under? What? $54 million? What's going on? Have their earnings report come out yet? I've got all the questions. This is going to be tragic. If you've got Macy's stock, dump it. Next. Breaking, more Republican women own guns than Democratic men, according to the Gallup survey. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's the show. If you would like to partner with Revival today, this is what it feels like. You're just too good to be true. I don't feel like that, huh? We'd like to first and foremost thank you for your partnership. And secondly, we want to give you a little gift. We want to, for all of those that want to partner with us, we want to send you this nice little keepsake t-shirt, okay? We both lost. There she is, Kamala. She's somewhere in Hawaii. I'm assuming she's going to be probably in Maui. Yes, but I banked 20 million and you owe 20 million. What a shame. What a shame. But we lived through that together. And this is just kind of like a little token so that you can look back on yesteryear and remember all of the horrors of this administration. So here it is. Here are the ways for you to partner with Revival Today. We've got Zelle, Venmo, PayPal. You can go on Facebook and donate via #donate, which has been actually it still works very well, the #donate. You can also scan the QR code and give via crypto. You can also text RT to 50155. Next, you want to mail in a gift? You can do so at Revival Today, P.O. Box 7, Prosperity, PA 15329. You got to claim your offer. Go to revivaltoday.com/offer and let us know what gift you would like to receive. So thanks again for your partnership. Is there any dates that I need to cover for the future? We're launching a church in LA starting March. We pushed back the dates. March 1st, we're going to be launching LA Revival Today LA. We also have a church that meets every Sunday here in Pittsburgh and in Fort Worth. So if you're in the areas, come on out. We'd love to shake your hand. There it is. We've got December 1st through the 6th. We're headed to Laredo. So Iglesia Cristiana Misericordia. Revival Today. Matthew, I bet you can't say that. I bet you can't say that, Matthew. We're also going to Winter Revival. For whatever reason, that was very difficult for me to read. I thought it said Winty. I didn't see the squiggle in my brain. Winter Revival, December 8th through the 13th at our favorite Choose Life Church in Hobbs, New Mexico. Go to revivaltoday.com/events and register for all events. Just let us know that you're coming. All events are totally free. Is that it? And let us not forget, we're headed into one of my favorite times of the year, 21 days of prayer and fasting. So January 6th through the 26th, we wanted to shift those dates so that we can end on a Sunday. And so please register at rtcregister.com. Again, 21 days of prayer and fasting around the corner. So you better eat up, carb up, ladies and gentlemen. And before I leave you on this glorious day, we've got our new app update. Now you can minimize. So for all of those that have been so diligently waiting, patiently waiting for this app to update, now it is up to date. You can minimize and open up other material. YouTube is almost at 100,000. What? 100,000 what? Oh, subscribers. Oh, nice. So if you have not subscribed, or in the words of my niece, Camelia, if you have not subscribed, subscribe today on YouTube, all right? We'll see you guys tomorrow. Same time, same place. Have a good day. Bye.
What's it like seeing so many Republicans in Manhattan, so many Trump supporters in Manhattan? Does that surprise you?
No, not at all. It's turning now. Trump's turn again.
What's your message to Joe Biden?
F you.
Belly's Up magazine, let me begin. I came to win, battle me, guard your chin. I won't ever slack up, commies better back up. Try to cheat again and you'll the whole country act up. Get up, stand up, come on, throw your hands up. If you got the feeling, jump across the ceiling. MAGA, let the love float, Democrats corrupt. Yo, we know it's do or die. We taking it all back, so feeling, funkin'. Amp Central Force when we got more fun. Bust it out, retribution, Delia's team. The memes can get meme, hit the lips coast to coast with on my one machine. I came to get down, I came to get down. So get out your seat and jump around, jump around, jump around, jump around. Trump up, White House bound. Trump, 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 everybody jump. Trump, 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 everybody jump. Trump, 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 Trump. I'll serve you just like tiny meatball. If you step out of line, you're taking a fall. Word to your moms, ballparks and thorns. I got more rallies than Bible got songs. And just like the prodigal son, I've returned. Anyone stepping in me, you'll get burned. Cause I got voters and you ain't got none. If you want a battle, come and get some. But if you do, you're a fool, cause DT is the best. After we take your seat, then you can protest. I got the skill, come get your fill. Cause when it's said and done, I'm standing still. I came to get down, I came to get down. So get out your seat and jump around, jump around, jump around, jump around. Trump up, White House bound. Trump, 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 everybody jump. Trump, 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 everybody jump. Trump, 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 Trump.